Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Mortgage Mondays, where we believe, apart from your family, your house and your mortgage are probably your largest investments, so it doesn't hurt to know just a little bit more. I'm your host, Mason Kealy, and today we're going to be talking about relationship, primarily financial relationship. Now, I do mortgages. Pretty much all I do is just mortgages, but obviously I work for the bank, and there's so much more when it comes to your completely rounded out finances than mortgages. You know, there's accounts, there's investing, there's credit cards, there's line of credits, there's all that stuff. And I thought today would be a great opportunity to talk about what's the best relationship to have. Should you have one primary relationship at your main bank and have everything there, or should you have, maybe an account over here, an account there, do your investing somewhere else? Should you have your accounts where your mortgage goes, right? So today we're going to be talking to Haydu. She's the branch manager at the Clearbrook branch, and she's going to give us a little bit of an explanation on branch relationships, and maybe we'll learn a little bit from her there. Without further ado, let's bring on Kathy. Hey, Kathy, and welcome to the show. I appreciate you making the time.
Hi, Mason. Thanks for having me.
So I was talking to our viewers and I was mentioning, obviously I do mortgages, right? But when it comes to doing the mortgages, it brings up almost everything that has to do about, their banking and their finances. Like we talk about things like, like bank accounts and credit cards and how they do their investing. And I wanted to reach out to you because you're in charge of a branch. I know the old adage, like my parents always said, don't put all your eggs in one basket, but I honestly think there's an advantage to that. Could you kind of tell me how you see things at the branch level?
Yeah, Nathan, thank you. That's a great question. So, and truthfully, I also too grew up with those expressions from my parents, just making sure to diversify. But this day and age, we're definitely seeing benefits to keeping everything in one basket, if we want to say that. Here at the branch, one of the things we pride ourselves on is relationship bank pricing. And what that means, Mason, is that when a client comes in and they acquire a mortgage and then they just sign on to receive a bank account or a credit card or an investment vehicle of some sort, the more they add on, the deeper the relationship pricing gets discounted. So I'll give you an example of what I mean by that is, let's just say, for example, you come in and you open up a bank account and a credit card with us.
Right.
And then you decide you want to open them. So at that point, you would get a specific rebate. And then if you added on another product and you extended your account to one of our bigger packages that would give you more benefits, you would get a deeper discount than that. So the idea around that is just to be able to manage pricing, and get the best rate, get the best service. Not that all of our clients will get that to start with, but definitely a benefit.
So there is an actual financial benefit to kind of having all your stuff in one place.
Absolutely.
And I know my viewers are going to ask me this too. I don't even know if this is something that you can answer, but what about, because you mentioned relationship, and I think that's really important because, anyone that's had a business or done business knows relationship is king. What about, say someone has, say they just got a mortgage with me, and I brought them to the branch, and they wanted to get a credit card. Is it easier to get, say, for instance, a credit card if they've now got a mortgage, or say they have like a TFSA or something? If they're a little more established, does that help in the process?
So that's a great question, Mason. So, there's pluses and minuses in both cases. And I would say, to answer your question thoroughly, if somebody's got an existing credit product, let's say a mortgage that you've helped clients with yourself, the chances of us being able to look at doing additional credit facilities, i.e. a visa, is to their benefit because you've already acquired all the documentation, you've gone through the credit things that we need. So it's absolutely to their benefit that we're not having to do the whole cycle, re-explain themselves, reintroduce their life, etc. So definitely a benefit. I do have a contingency on that, and I just want to make sure that I'm careful. It is easier, but it also, if somebody is at their credit max, it is also a good position for us to be able to say, hey, you may not qualify at this time, but let me help you build up the savings side, or let's build somewhat of a plan so we can get you there. So we may not always get it approved at first blush, but there's always a way. Absolutely. It might be in the future though, Nathan.
But, and I guess the relationship, that building that relationship, you're at least going to know you can make that recommendation to know what's good for them. You're not going to be giving them poor advice because you don't know their whole picture, right?
100%. 100%. And I think the one thing I didn't mention to in the beginning, which I think is really important to mention, is especially when we're talking about eggs in one basket and people being really fee sensitive. I know that, you know, a lot of institutions these days will offer free banking based on the fact that they carry a minimum balance.
Yep.
That is one thing that we don't require. You're not asking for a minimum balance to receive this relationship pricing. The idea is to grow with you, grow with our clients, be able to help them reach each financial goal as they grow, and then, as I was mentioning, try and discount that relationship pricing deeper and deeper each time.
So, not on the financial side now, but I'm actually kind of curious because I used to come into the branches all the time to visit you guys, and because of COVID now, I work from home. I kind of feel like I don't get to visit enough. I miss you guys, but how do you find? Because I know people are going to be curious. How do you find that that customers have been kind of changing the way they're doing their banking now? Like, do you is it different in the branch now with COVID?
That's an excellent question. So to answer it somewhat frankly, I would say that we still see a bit of volume. We still need to have that personal touch with some of our clients, especially if we're looking at one or two or a few people that are needing the same type of advice. That virtual or telephone appointment is not going to be as accommodating as being able to sit with, you know, two or three people and explain it. But you're absolutely right. We do have people who have gone to that virtual world where, you know, they are already assuming that that's where we're going to play and get to meet with them. And absolutely we can. So, you know, I would say probably on about 40% we do telephone and virtual appointments. And we can conduct anything via telephone as well. We just don't have this visual. And then probably the other remaining would be face-to-face, but the technology that we have with the digital options, as far as signing, being able to share resources, communication through online banking, all of those are just first class, Nathan. So, you know, we do have a bit of pocket for people have preferences, but I would say, truthfully, a lot of people like to see friendly faces once in a while too. So we're also open to that. We don't want to stop.
And you know, once you've built the relationship, doing a video conference isn't as bad because you've already met them in person, you know, right? So if you have that relationship, that could be really. Oh, actually, you know what? I just thought of something else too. That going by relationship and how important it is to know the people. I just had a meeting just a couple days ago with Group Advantage. So many people don't know what group is. And that's really something that would only be pointed out if you guys actually knew the person, and those are points and savings that they could realize that they might not even know about.
100%, you're absolutely right. And even if we're meeting somebody on the phone or it's virtual or in person, we do have that capability to be able to look up and to see if they work with a company or source. Or a group of people that we do have group advantage banking with, to see if they qualify for the deeper discounts, to see if they qualify for the points, as you mentioned. But the folks here, when they're doing the advisors, when they're doing the getting to know their clients, that is something that is a priority for them before they make the calls or the clients come in a face-to-face environment. They're also looking for those things just to be able to dive right in and speak to it.
Awesome. Well, I know you guys are really busy in the branch, so I'm not going to take a lot more of your time, but thank you very much for the work that you guys are doing and taking care of people during COVID as well. And I'm going to come out and visit. I will, but it won't be very often. But thank you very much for your time. I'm sure people are going to find that informative.
Oh, thanks, Mason. Thanks to see your smile again. And if you need me or anybody needs any help from the branch, by all means, reach out to myself.
Sounds good. Have a wonderful day.